It is my pleasure now to introduce Carol Rosin. Carol is the founder for the Institute for Security and Cooperation in Space, a World Peace Ambassador of the International Association of Educators for World Peace. Dr. Rosin, an educator, is perhaps best known as the original political architect of the movement to stop the Strategic Defense Initiative and also anti-satellite weapons. Carol became the first woman executive in the aerospace industry, a corporate manager at Fairchild Industries, a U.S. aerospace company where she was also spokesperson for the late Dr. Wernher von Braun, the father of rocketry. Carol helped set up the ATS-6 satellite educational and medical training programs across the U.S. in Appalachia, the Rocky Mountains, Alaska, and also the first national and international two-way audio-visual satellite educational program in over 20 countries, including 5,000 villages in India. Carol has basically been an international peace activist for decades upon decades, and she is here to speak with us today about human rights and her work, and it is my pleasure to introduce Carol Rosin.
John Stern. And this is the first time I've ever spoken with jeans on. Ashland. Thank you, Occupy Ashland and International, the major award-winning, national award-winning and worldwide award-winning, the Nobel Peace Prize award-winning Amnesty International. Wow. To be in the company of all of you is one of the biggest treats in my whole life. Some of you know me as the name Tiana, because when I first got to Ashland, and I've been hiding out here for 3 years, except for speaking at the Peace Village a few months ago, you know me as Tiana. So now I will tell you, thank you, John, my name is Carol Rosin, and to be part of Occupy Ashland is just a thrill, and to see all of you come out here in the cold while all of our noses are running and we're shivering is just amazing. Well, as you heard, I came out of the aerospace, military, industrial, lab, university, NASA, and other international space agencies, governments, intelligence community complex. Inexorably linked to each other and to us, and they're not going to disappear. So occupying them with our consciousness and our hearts is what the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is all about. And today, as we celebrate that declaration, which now is in the constitutions of over 90 countries, the human rights that all of us want and need are not being respected. Not with the dignity that we all deserve, not with the equal rights that we all deserve, and now they're getting ready to put weapons in outer space above all of our heads to dominate and control us all. It says it right in the plans. To take us over, make us think, make us act, make us behave in a certain way as individuals, as groups. And that's when I left the industry, when I found out that that was the game, and it's accelerating right now. And our rights will be taken away forever if they're allowed to get away with this. So I've been very fortunate to work with people that are very much like the co-authors of the Declaration of Human Rights. The sixth man on the moon, some of you know Dr. Edgar Mitchell, who founded the Institute of Noetic Sciences to study the brain and the mind when he had an out-of-body experience in space. And Dr. Scott Jones, former military intelligence, worked for Senator Claiborne Pell, one of our more conscious senators you probably know of. Unfortunately, he's deceased now. And Abe Krieger from Boeing, 37 years. Commander Will Miller, Navy. And the former Minister of Defense of Canada, the Honorable Paul Hellyer, have written a treaty called the Outer Space Security and Development Treaty. It's on peaceandspace.com, our website, so if you get a chance, please go and read it, because to me that's equally as important. It is the document, the declaration of our time in the space age that is going to get us out of this mess that we're in. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that also. but really what the emphasis is today, and you can pick up a copy, please do. How many of you have read the Declaration of Human Rights? Oh, this is such a conscious group, most people, amazing. Take this home with you, reread it, take a few, pass it out to your friends. You can write to me at peaceandspace.com. My email's on there, and I can send you stacks of these if you want them. Because this Declaration of Human Rights is the most widely translated document ever in history in the Guinness Book of Records. 382 languages and dialects. This has been translated into 382 so far languages and dialects. Can you imagine? The most widely translated, and did you learn about this when you were in school? So, we need to educate, teach about human rights, and it's all, the foundation of it is in this document written way back on this day, December 10th, 1948, and it's the foundation still for the human rights that we all need and deserve. And Occupy Ashland, we're part of that world celebration, and we're leading the way too. So congratulations to us, Occupy. Congratulations to you. Occupy, Occupy. This Declaration of Human Rights starts out by being called the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That means a lot. It's universal to all of us, but it brings into me the idea of the universes. When we study science and when we study the heart, the consciousness of all of us, we get led into one issue, and that issue is that we all know we want peace. We want peace. And we know that we have to come from love as we develop the technologies, the new economy that is about to emerge, as we develop all the issues that we care about in the context of a new integrity, of the truth, we get to that love and peace concept. And that's what is also in this Declaration of Human Rights, love and peace. And yes, it's political. Even though we say we don't want to be political, some of us, this is political. And thank goodness we have Buckley here. We have a representative here. Where are the rest of them? Can you bring them here to the next Occupy meetings, please? Thank you very much. And we have people who are running for office. We have people here who ought to be in office. We need to take over those politics too. And that's part of what the Declaration of Human Rights says, that in the dignity of each of us, we have a right to take these positions. We have a right to create an educational system that tells the truth, that's based on real science and facts. Some of you know that, and I've heard from several here, you saw me in the Disclosure Project. I'm kind of a reluctant traveler in all of this because I've been threatened, robbed. I've ended up attacked and in the hospital. I've been told to shut up and stop doing all of this. Unfortunately, this works in someone like me, and obviously you, in reverse. So thank you, what I'm doing now is saying we have to teach what human rights are all about, not just here, but how we relate to being around the world. And guess what? How we also relate to our cosmic neighbors. Because anyone who doesn't believe that they're real, you need to go look at some of these witnesses with very high-level credentials. These are not stupid people, they're not flaky people, they're telling the truth and they have great courage. And we need to listen to the people from the disclosure projects, the military, the industry people, the corporate people that have gone public. Why? Not just because the ETs are coming. And don't worry, they're not coming to steal our resources and our ovaries or eat us or control us. No. They've been here, they've communicated with a lot of people, and I've been afraid to tell anybody because I'm not supposed to. So guess what? They're here, and they come in peace, and we will have a lot to learn when we visit our neighbors, not just all around the world in peace, but the ones that we will be able to invite in when we get this treaty signed to ban weapons from space. Because that's going to put a lid on the war machine. That lid is going to allow the whole aerospace industrial complex to transform. These guys want money, they want profit, they want control. Okay, so do we. And what we really want is to be able to transform that whole mindset and the industry. But it's going into outer space, and we're alive in that lifetime, and that program is accelerating. So I want to bring that back into you in the Declaration of Human Rights reasons, because it says right in here that we are to educate, we're to disseminate, display, read, and expound every aspect of human rights across the world. And that means everything in terms of economics, cultural, arts, in terms of the sociological benefits of developing a whole new way of living and working on Earth and in space. So note that I'm bringing in a space element. When this declaration was written in 1948, these forefathers, and they were fathers, they did, and we have some others coming in now. Now, these documents were written, these were agreed upon by countries of the world with an anticipation of what's going to happen in the future. We are the future, and we're going to create the rest of it, a foundation, the next stage of the foundation of this declaration right here in Occupy Ashland, and in Occupy all over the country, and in Occupy all over the world that we're connected to. And it says right here that we are going to we're now taking the recourse, we're now rebelling. We're in a state of almost huge revolution here, and we have a right to do that. It says it right here in this document, if in fact we are not given our human rights. And it says right here in the preamble, in the charter, that the founders had faith in the fundamental human rights and the dignity and worth of all human beings. Are we respecting that all over the world? No way. No, and this has to be part of our plan, not just in Ashland, where we have to take care of our homeless, the sick, the poor. We must do that, and we are. We're doing very well in Ashland, but not well enough. We have much more to do. And we need better standards, it says it right here, for social programs, for everything that will allow us to be really free. Are we really free? No, we're not. We live under a canopy of lies behind a veil of secrecy, and that's lifting now, thanks to the Occupy people all over the world. And I have to tell you, I was very hesitant to come here. If it hadn't been for John Stern, I don't think I would have. And when I heard Amnesty would be here and all the people from Occupy that came, I was really hesitant to come. I have this thing in me that says protests are not going to do any good. And petitions are not going to do any good. It's not going to cause second-order change, real change. But you know what? It is. It really is. We are going to walk into the offices. We're going to walk into the corporations. We actually have to bring those people here, too. We need to bring them into our meetings because they need to know that it's our right to talk with them and express ourselves, to have our opinions, to have our belief systems. It says it all right here, even in the preamble of this whole document here. And this is a common understanding and a common language that we have now. It says it right in the Declaration of Human Rights, that we now all over the world have a chance to express ourselves and our opinions in a common language. And the language is that of peace, freedom, and justice, of a new economic system, of a new industry system. We have stores closing down across our city of Ashland. We have people going out of business that have been in business across the street here for 21 years in the American Indian store. We have forgotten about the indigenous people, let alone the cosmos people. This is a time for us to recognize all of us, every single one of us, and to hug each other, and to come at it with a state of love, but with also a state of intelligence and intuition. This is something that is a combination of how we can approach now all of the laws and treaties. Do you know that the treaties of the world are based on the Declaration of Human Rights? There are a lot of treaties for the Declaration of Human Rights, for all kinds of rights. I started writing down, and I won't have time to go into it, all the issues, and I put them in alphabetical order, that we're all concerned about with, I'll just give you an idea, animals, the rights of animals, housing for the homeless, children, civilian and political rights, the climate control, cultural issues, democracy, detention, development and consciousness, disabilities, people with disabilities, people who are disappearing, people who are dealing with the economic, social, and cultural issues, education, environment, executions, food, freedom of opinions and expression, peace by association, we can associate with anyone we want to, religious beliefs, get the facts. This, by the way, is implied in this Declaration of Human Rights, all of this. Globalization, you know they've stolen some of the language from us with intention. We have people now protesting they don't want a new world order. We do want a new world order. We have people saying, well, it's just collateral damage. These are deaths and murders that we have legalized. We have children going to war, putting on uniforms, committing suicide missions. That's what it is. It's not suicide missions coming here. Our kids are going there too. It's suicide, and then they come back in body bags or in their uniforms and they're heroes. Poor things. We need to educate about our human rights. They have these rights. We have to deal with health issues, all kinds of health issues, human rights. We have the independence of each other and of our communities, and of communities around the world need to be allowed to be independent and have the cultures that they have. We have to respect the indigenous. We have to respect the displaced people and give them homes. Gary Davis formed the World Government of World Citizens. Oh, world government. Well, what if we all got in the positions of the world government and we create the world government that takes care of all of these issues, and we all get world passports? By the way, you can sign up for them over there. We have to take care of the elderly and the children. We have to take care of all the people that are poor. We have to stop this racism. We have to live by the rules of laws, of universal laws and principles of nature. We have to live in harmony with nature and deal with all situations, including slavery. We have to deal with terrorism, torture, trafficking. We have to deal with the water situation and organic food all over the world. The women's issues, well, these lists go on, and you know what the issues are. This declaration is an inspiration for all of us. Reread it. Reread it on the day when it's being read like we're reading it here today all over the world. Reread it in the energy of the people all over the world that are suffering, where the children are suffering, where people are going into their homes, where they can come into our homes like they did my home. Don't let that happen to people. Stop this. Create the new reality. Come up with your visions. Get your children to create the visions that are based on the Declaration, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. We have a chance to create a reality, and if every single person here calls up a world leader, a national leader, anybody, and says, do not put those weapons in space, it's the one thing that we have a chance now to stop. Tell them to go to peaceandspace.com and look at that treaty, and look who wrote it. Look at their biographies. They're all on there. These courageous men allowed their biographies and photos to be on that website. These are the creative people. These are the people who have courage like all of you do for going out and doing what you're doing and standing in the street so everybody can hear you and see you when they go by. This is an energy grid that we're in. It's a new energy. It's raising the consciousness. It's in a frequency that's higher and different from the old paradigm way of thinking and that old consciousness that got us into this mess that we're in. Protect each other, love each other, walk around with that love in your heart, but do it intelligently so you don't get fooled anymore by the lies, by the corruption, by the hate and the greed. No more. And that's why we're doing this Occupy movement all over the world, and why we're doing it here in Ashland, and why Amnesty is here present with us, and why we've got dignitaries here present with us, and they're all over the world. We are connected in a grid, in a frequency that's different, and I bless you all for it, and I share as much love as I can with you. Protect each other, because we need that kind of protection. It says in the human rights document here, we need to protect each other and our rights as world citizens, as well as citizens of our city, of our countries, man-made boundaries and geographical boundaries of the world and of the universe. We need to protect each other with that high energy, high frequency of peace on Earth and peace in space above all of our heads that we're all going to work for. Thank you so much for inviting me here and giving me my first chance in an Occupy movement to speak.